Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, John. Happy Wednesday.
Wednesday, March 15th, 2023. Lots and lots of wild stuff going on in the news this week. Lots of crazy things happening in banking and mortgages, and inflation is going to be a continuing thing as the Fed is pulling all its little levers to control what's going on. I mean, it's only got so many levers it can pull, right? One of them being the overnight Fed funds rate, others being quantitative easing and all these other kind of little magical things that it can do. But the pulling the levers of the federal funds rate and raising rates has some negative side effects, which happen to kind of trigger some of the intention of the Fed, which is to put the brakes on things. But it also triggered a crazy event in banking last week. And tell me a little bit about what happened with mortgage rates over the last couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, much like all the other financial markets, it's been volatile, ups and downs. So the collapse of the SVB bank and the bank crisis, the looming bank crisis has actually been good for mortgage rates because inflation is the enemy of mortgage rates. The Fed has been battling inflation, but this is a huge indicator of cracks in the system and the economy. So it's also indicators that the Fed may need to chill out and just let things work itself out for a while. They've gone so strong that it's actually the Fed caused all of these problems. They're 2 decades of 0% rates, let things get too out of control. Now they're tightening too fast and it's crushing the banks. So it's been volatile, but overall good news for mortgage rates. We had a great day Monday. Tuesday, we gave back some of the gains that we had of lower rates, but we're picking it up a lot today. Looks like it's starting off to be a fantastic day. So really, the key in all of this is, it's a great time to buy. The best time to buy is when you need a house, and work with somebody who knows and watches the market so that when it's time to lock, when it's time to get yours, that you're getting it on one of the good cycles.
Yeah. I mean, that's as you're thinking and watching the news, it's really easy to get caught up in these fear cycles, right? And I think that's one of the things that's keeping people from making decisions in 2023. But in a great deal of life here, now is when a lot of people are fearful of doing something. Oftentimes that's a good time to be taking action, is when everybody else is sitting on the sidelines, because there are opportunities right now. I will say it's still a low inventory scenario, so home prices are not dropping, but the forward looking into the future, the likelihood of prices in real estate dropping is actually getting less and less. And now we hope to have a pretty balanced, growth of appreciation here now. But it's I'm not going to say it's easy, but now if you're watching rates, when you have an opportunity for a good rate, take that opportunity and call Kevin and lock your rate if you're shopping, and get ready to make your decision in that window of opportunity. So Kevin, what we're here for, of course, is to provide educational information and talk about mortgages and real estate, and provide information to help people make smart and intelligent decisions and avoid costly mistakes with their real estate decisions and mortgages, and help people understand kind of what's possible, and sort of dispel some myths that are out there. And I think one of the myths that we constantly are facing is that people don't feel like a lot of folks may not be understanding that they don't have to have 20% down, 20% of a down payment saved up in order to buy a house. And there are advantages to having an instant equity position when you buy a house, because you're certainly going to get a better rate and some other things. However, if you're buying a $300,000 house and you need 20% down, you're talking $60,000 in cash plus closing costs. So, we're looking at 60, $6,000, give or take, of money that you need in the bank, but you don't have to have that much money in order to buy a house. And one of the things I wanted to dispel is let's talk real quick about first-time home buyer. And what does first-time home buyer mean? Because there are first-time home buyer programs that allow you to have, go into that. How much does somebody have to put down if they're a first-time home buyer?
The real answer to that is it depends, but honestly, it very well could be zero. There are programs for no down payment. There's programs with low down payment, and you don't even have to be a first-time buyer. So you can do, if you're a veteran and are VA eligible, VA has a great mortgage program with no down payment. If you're purchasing in a rural area, you can purchase with no down payment using a USDA mortgage, U.S. Department of Agriculture. Same people that certify our beef at the grocery store, they have a no down payment mortgage program. And if you both of those, you don't have to be a first-time buyer for. But if you are a first-time buyer, then there are programs through Virginia Housing here in Virginia where you can purchase with low or no down payment. There's grant funds available. There's even grants to help pay closing costs. So there are a lot of very affordable options. So if you think down payment's going to be an obstacle, it's probably not.
Good insight, and of course, you called out the VA loan, and I'll point out as well, you are a veteran yourself.
I am. Long time ago.
And I would imagine you've used your VA benefit when you're buying primary residence for yourself. How many houses can you buy if you have your VA benefit? You can tell me, go into that a little bit.
It's really unlimited.
Okay.
So if you buy a house and sell it, you can use your VA eligibility over and over and over again. But the VA also allows you to purchase without. So they have what they call like remaining eligibility. So if you buy a home, I actually just had this come up yesterday. Some folks bought a home a long time ago for $125,000, still not paid off yet. I think they're renting it out or something. And they're getting a home with their VA eligibility again using the VA mortgage. And we did some quick calculations, and they could purchase a home up to $590,000 with no down payment. And they can even go over that with a very, very small down payment. So you can use your VA eligibility again, even if that prior one isn't paid off.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome benefit. I do talk to a lot of veterans that maybe, want to own homes, and there's a lot of young veterans that are here in this area that, if they start thinking about their plan for their future, they can really take advantage of some of these things. And I certainly encourage anybody that is a veteran, if you don't do that, it's a great benefit that is there to help. And it's awesome that is available to folks. Now, I just had a conversation with a potential home buyer last week, and they're going to be coming to the area to buy a home sometimes later this year, maybe in the summer or so. And they haven't owned a home in a while. They've been renting probably for like 6 or 7 years. And I think they were thinking they had to have 20% down payment. And I was able to tell them, no, you actually very likely would qualify as a first-time home buyer, which is really foreign to the thinking. So can you give me some more insight again into what makes somebody a first-time home buyer in the eyes of an FHA type of loan?
Yeah, generally, you are a born-again first-time home buyer if you have not owned a primary residence in the last 3 years. So yeah, there's a lot of first-time buyer opportunities for folks that have owned before. Yeah, so technically it may not be your first time, but if you haven't done it in a while, you're a first-time buyer again.
And what would be the advantage of that from a loan type standpoint?
Yeah, it's most of the advantages come from some lower down payment options, which is kind of what we're talking about, so lower down payments, down payment assistance, grant funds, etc. That's the majority of the benefits, because for first-time buyers, really the incentive is there to help make the home purchase more in reach. So that's where most of the first-time buyer grants, incentives, and programs are focused, is helping make the actual purchase more affordable. And then we're going to make sure that you can afford the monthly payment as well. But there can be some interest rate savings that is really, it depends. So for some people, it works out to be a slightly better rate and lower cost. For others, maybe not. So that's not really the true benefit. True benefit is less money out of pocket, helping folks who maybe haven't been able to save enough for a full down payment to still move forward with the purchase.
Yeah. And, I think the desire of home ownership is one that really changes people's lives in a lot of ways. And if you've been a homeowner, you know what it feels like. If you've not been a homeowner, then you probably have that hunger inside of you, to this kind of lacking feel of control. And the advantage of owning a home is, one of the many advantages of owning a home is now you're in control, for one thing, of that outcome. And by also having control, you have this dream that comes with home ownership that allows you to actually own something that is extremely tangible. In fact, owning a home is one of the most tangible things you can possibly own. It can't be ripped out from underneath of you. Certainly fire, wind, storms, acts of God and things like that have impact on real estate, but it is the one thing that you can own that literally cannot just vanish and go away. You can own a car, but it can be stolen, it can be crashed, it can be deteriorated, and it eventually wears out. Of course, homes need maintenance and these kind of things, so don't get me wrong, but it is that one thing that you can live in, and everybody needs a place to live. And then there's other opportunities, which we talked a little bit about with the potential of even house hacking. I was watching a nice little podcast this morning about ways to help generate some money to help you earn or save for those down payment options, which would be a topic for another conversation. I think we could get into some side hustle things to help people save a little bit of extra money so they can have that down payment ready. But there are options to help you afford that house, and we'll certainly get into some of that again later as well. So yeah, Kevin, it's been a pretty wild week. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the banking world here over the next few weeks. But it's hard to watch the news and really feel good about things at times. But the real world is, the headline stealers are there to make money, and hopefully people can kind of understand that. Talk to a professional. If you have questions about mortgages, reach out, talk to Kevin. If you have real estate questions here in the Williamsburg area, I'm here to help you with those kind of things. And Kevin, I'll kind of wrap up with this. Which bear is the most condescending?
Which bear?
A panda.
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 Okay. Mine is spring-based. Why couldn't the flower ride a bike?
Oh, why couldn't the flower ride a bike? Don't know.
It lost its petals.
Poor flower. Poor flower. Oh my gosh.
On that note.
You know what? It's funny. I actually was I was having a conversation with one of my clients last week, and she was just kind of talking about some things that she hears us talking about on this call. And she said she heard one of the dad jokes that we did, and she just thought it was hysterical. So it's funny. People actually do listen, and every time we try, at least sometimes we forget, but we try to throw something silly in there with a little bad dad joke here. So you're trying to keep it light but also educational. Kevin, thanks again for your time today, talking about mortgages, down payments, and loan programs, and so forth and so on. Is there anything else that we can get into real quick before we jump off?
Oh, I think we covered a lot today. So until next week.
Yeah, man, it sounds good. All right. Well, I will look forward to talking with you again later on. Have a great day. And in the meantime, stay happy and healthy. We'll talk to you soon. See you, bud.